Getting back in here is always so freaking nuts. I've made it to sheep camp. Alright, so we finally made it to sheep camp. I'm back here with John. Last year turned into an ewe hunt, and then the sheep hunt before that with John, I hammered a 28 1/4. So when we were setting up this hunt, we were joking that this one's redemption and we need to, break my old record. But then I shot that 34 incher in New Mexico. And then John got here yesterday and saw a 36 incher. So I guess the running joke is that we still need to beat my old record. So you said you saw him on this peak the other morning. And then which way to go?
He come around the front side of that peak. And so we went around the back, tried to come up over him. Guess we made too much noise or something, but they kicked out and they went over the top. And last time I saw him was way back there.
Well, I can tell you what I want to do.
Yeah, me too.
Dusting. Now we're just missing the sheep. Stuff like this is how they appear, disappear, and then reappear when you're sitting down there glassing. What does that look like to you? You?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is that other one?
Right there?
Oh, there might be one up higher than that too. No. It's just them two.
Got a range on that? I got 350. Wait for this dude on the left to lift his head up. So we can't find them in the scope. So we're gonna just come back here in the morning and probably start off here and see if they're still in this bowl. It's in the scope. Those guys are about 400 yards. We're waiting to see. It's the group from last night. We're waiting to see if any more of them step out. So he or she, the other sheep's down to the right, just at his frame.
Where did she go?
Did she move? And then there's another one. We're gonna go get a better look at those sheep. Peek out right there and then just see what we see beyond. Clearly there's a bunch right in that area. Truck is down there. Just out here chasing ghosts. They were just right there and they went over. But up in there, there's 9 sheep. So I'm gonna get the spotter out and take a look. So I think the one up to the left might be a young ram. Yeah. Not up here, left, right there, right there in the center.
Yep, that's the one I thought was a ram. And take him. Pretty good.
They're at 700 yards. So 750?
I'm not comfortable shooting that. If you are.
Well, I am, but there's no reason we can't. There's definitely room to be able to close that distance. Oh, we just got busted. We were checking here real quick to make sure before we committed around the backside. And they saw us, and then we just saw them disappear right into that crack. I think we're gonna hit that peak right there and sit up there and glass. I just got done walking up the canyon. Those sheep originally were like right in there. And the truck's way down there. Alright, so we got the one at the bottom, one facing to the right, and they're all in a line going up. Those look like some decent rams. Those are some shooter rams. They're slowly feeding away, which means we got a haul ass. This hill right here is 500. They're on the one back beside it, behind it. I'm just guessing 1,000. I don't know. Watching the video playback, I can zoom in on my phone. That dude in the back is freaking big. So I'm thinking it's a band of 5 or 6 rams. When I watch the video playback again, I saw a ram that I didn't see in the spotter. But see if we can connect. That's not the sheep we're chasing. All these hills have eyes. 710 yards. His butt's in that bush right there. No. Stop walking. That's 700 yards. Looks pretty decent. Bottom left. There's some more up to the right I just saw. I'd love to get closer. I don't know if I can. I feel like I'll get seen. Peak up and over. They should be at 3:30. The truck camp is through that valley, which is real easy. Walking in a pebble river bottom that goes all the way to the front. And I just want to take a second to appreciate. This is in Texas, man. This is some crazy views down here in Texas. I don't know. Just taking a minute to gather myself here because it's 1.5 miles to camp, and the Fitbit says we've done just under 5 miles and 116 flights of stairs. Walking back to camp, we're just walking through a creek bottom, so it shouldn't be too bad. It's about 1.5 miles as crow flies, so it'll probably realistically be like 2. But I'm just taking a minute here to collect myself. This country, this terrain is just freaking nuts, man. I feel like I'm walking on the bottom of the ocean. Found some water. Wonder how old it is. I'm like 3/4 of the way back to camp, and I'm just sitting here waiting for John to catch up, doing some glassing, seeing if I see anything, just kind of hanging out in the shade. Right now we're trying to just locate something. We got about hour and a half of light left. So we're sitting here glassing from the road because we're both pretty wore out, and actually trying to eat something and stuff and just get situated and find something to either maybe shoot at tonight, but definitely at least try and chase tomorrow.
Too far.
Ooh, with a baby Tim Tim.
Even over, it's over 1,000.
Christ. You can see her with your bare eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Things are just popping up. Nothing worth chasing, but it doesn't mean Mac Daddy ain't gonna step out.
I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. There's some, looks like some ewes. Way the hell over there. I think those things are damn near a mile.
Yeah. They're Mexico.
Saw them.
Mexicanos.
Saw them. They were skylined. Okay, today's goal: get up on top. So I'm gonna walk over, walk through that, come up the back side of this. John has to be back in town by dinner, so he's gonna hang out until, I don't know, probably about noon. I slept like crap last night. Woke up at 3 a.m. to go pee, and the wind started howling. And I heard somebody talking outside the tent, so I started freaking out. Got out, checked it out, and it was just John yelling at his dog. I didn't know that because I was like half asleep. I couldn't fall back asleep because the wind was beating on the tent. So finally fell back asleep at 5. Right now it's 8:15. The alarm went off at 7. I was like, nope. So hips are a little sore, back's a little jaded from yesterday, but we're in it to win it. I'm walking for 45 minutes. I'd say I'm halfway up the hill. It is 62 degrees out, and I am burning up. I hope it stays overcast all day today, otherwise I am going to die. Right there in the middle of the hill, there's 2 sheep. The one on the left looks like a younger ram, maybe a decent ewe, and the one to the right looks smaller. They're at about 880. That dude's at 1,700 yards. Looks like an ewe. He's right there in the center. And then there was one to the left, just barely on the edge of the screen. It's so freaking far. Those look like young rams. Again, you know, that's, or maybe big ewes. 1,800 yards. I'm sorry, 1,700 yards straight line distance. Nothing worth chasing over there. Oh, little update. It's sprinkling right now, which is cool. Oh, God. I need a different hobby. Took me an hour and a half. But we're up top. There's one to the left in the bottom corner of the screen behind that bush. And then there's those 2. They look like young rams. If I could, I'd just camp up here, but it's not the food that's the issue, it's the amount of water you're gonna have to haul up here. That's the farther group. I'm trying to push closer to them because there's a lot more of them that I'm not seeing. And I'm hoping there's a shooter in there. He might be something. They're at about 1,000. They're on that crease and then that crease. He's not bad, but I still don't think he's what I'm after. That's that bigger one that was bedded. He looks close, but I don't think he'll break 30. All this stuff like this is making them very difficult to see and find in the spotter for that far point. And then there's no way, this is a little bit rolling, so there's no way that there's not more in here that I'm not seeing. What I want to do is I want to push in more over there. But what I don't want to do is bump a sheep I don't see and then wreck all of this. Still just not seeing that tank of a caliber of one that I'm looking for. Every time I look, there's another one. I think I need to push up closer. Okay, so there's like 8 Aoudad in this picture. That dude up in the center, facing to the right, looks like he might be decent. And then there's one down below him to the right. So it looks like he might be decent. Then you got the 2 to the left feeding away. You got the one in the dead center of the screen. The one dead center of the screen. The one to the right of it looks decent. And the one who just moved further away from you. Oh, God. No, he doesn't, though. He doesn't, though. Oh, it's the one to the right of him that you can barely... These guys are like 1,000. They bedded back down. This is frickin' nuts and nerve-wracking. I can't tell if it's looking at me or looking away. Not very big though. I hadn't seen him before. I think I saw another one with him. I still only think he's like 24, 25 inches. And he's about 600 yards from me, I think. So we got 2 ewes and 2 babies. Down off of there. That dude down to the left is frickin' close. He is. He's not bad. Come on, lift your head back up. Him. He's close. I think he'd go 26 or 27. I'm like really sure this is where they were at. But I don't know if they saw me or if they just fed down over. I haven't. Still looking. don't think they can see me that well. It's all ewes. There might be one small ram in with them, but it's all ewes and then a baby. I'm 4.5 miles in according to the Fitbit. And it's 1 in the afternoon. I'm gonna skip breakfast again. I'm just eating something real quick. And I kind of want to hit that little lip and go up over that. They're really young. Maybe just a group of ewes. Now that's a ram. That's for sure a ram. Not a very big one. See, like he's a ram. That's an ewe to the left. That dude is so close. So freaking close. Maybe in 3-4 years. Those sheep ran down that way, but I sit down here and I'm glassing, and there's some over there. Yeah, the one up top is an ewe. On the bottom middle's a ram. These are about at 800 yards. Now that looks like it might be a shooter. How the frick do I get over there though? They're at 988, so I'll probably just lay prone and send it from here. Oh, just kidding. Ooh, that one right there to the right looks like he's got some mass. Got his head down feed. Yeah, that's a shooter ram. See the difference? So they're right in there. I think I can get down to there by dropping off and going around. But they're up there. I'm sorry. They're up there. Son of a bitch. So if they drop off down into there, I'm not going to see them. Ooh, this is difficult, boys. So if I walk down to there, it should be a 450-yard shot to back in there. Problem is, if they drop off, I'm not going to see them. And the other thing is like the elevation. Like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to see them from there. I gotta sit here and think. They all fed. I went back behind that rock. I still see a couple of them randomly, but the big guy went behind that rock. So there's some feeding right here, but it's like the big guy and a couple other guys went around the backside and I haven't seen them. if he was walking out to the front, I'd go meet him down there because I feel like I could capitalize on that. But for all I know, he's walking that way, and I don't want to be walking that way because he's going to outwalk me. All right. They're poking back out. Haven't seen the big boy yet. But due to the terrain, I really don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I'd want to go to get a shot angle. And, you know, yes, it's 1,000. Yes, it's 1,000 yards from me to them, but I'm going to have to like drop down and go through and then do some elevation gain. And then there's other ones closer than them that I want to not run into. He's the one in the middle looking towards us. They're all feeding away. And if these groups of sheep go join those groups of sheep, I'll never catch those unless they just bedded down like right there. So I'm thinking I'm kind of shit out of luck on this. Yeah, everybody's feeding away from me, so unfortunately, gotta watch him walk out of my life. Let's go see what's over that ridge. Fuck it. Those ones yesterday were at 1,200, slowly feeding. Fuck it. We're getting there. I am on freaking fire though. That's where I came from. Going somewhere up over there. Look at these. All these little coves. This place is freaking nuts. I gotta go up that hill right there. $3.25. Trying to figure out which one he is. He don't look bad. Got him in my scope at 6. I'm trying to figure out which one's the big ram. They're just easy walking. I can't figure out which one's the big ram though. But they're cresting up and over right now. They went up and over. When they crested, they didn't seem too spooked. So I'm gonna see if I can put eyes on them. Why is it never just like a nice little easy hill when you crest over here in Texas? I haven't seen them. It's been about 15 minutes. There they are. So there's those two at the bottom. And there's a bunch right there. 15 yards. None of them look overtly big. I don't know if the big ram's still down at the bottom. I just can't see him yet, or what. But none of those guys look like shooters. That whole series of events was really lame. I'm pretty sure it's the same band of rams, but it's like the two bigger ones are just gone out of it. Okay, I found two more. Still not the big guys, but they're not too far from the other ones. Found the big boys. There's two of them in there that look pretty close. They're just trailing way behind. Yeah, he's way bigger than the rest. He's got chaps for days. It's at 6:50. I guess I better get my boots back on. Okay, we're gonna crest over this. They should be at 400. The biggest one in there is probably 25. That's the moon. The sheep are gonna be moving all night. Tomorrow should be a good day. I'm about an hour behind where I was yesterday. I'm just getting up and going, and it's almost 9:30. I'm gonna start walking at 9:30. So yesterday I started walking at 8:30. The goal is to repeat what I did yesterday, get up on top, but I want to go to the back side of that right before I spotted those sheep and started chasing them, because there's a whole big ravine in there that's really nasty and should be really good sheep country. The problem is that I can only carry so much water, and the sun's out today, which doesn't sound like it'd make a difference, but down here in Texas it makes a huge difference. Yesterday I finished all my water and I did 13 miles. So like you gotta, you can get yourself into some trouble. But I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm just praying for the best. You ever get stuck out here at night, climb in one of those holes? Watch out for rattlesnakes, but if you climb in one of those holes, they retain heat. So it's a lot easier to stay warm, be out of the weather. And then during the day, if you get too hot, climb in one of those holes, because during the day they are usually a lot cooler than the outside being in the sun. And so it's just a little survival tip for you. I'm up on top. I'm looking where I saw sheep yesterday, and this place seems pretty empty. I haven't seen any sheep at all today yet. I don't know. This breeze coming up out of this canyon, it's like sitting in front of an AC unit. It's amazing right now. I'd always heard about desert tarantulas, but I've never seen one. Look at that thing. That's where I started at, and where you can see the truck from. All the way around and back to be able to see into this. But to be honest with you, I would just walk down to that, following the creek. If I just walked down to this and looked in, it would have taken me maybe an hour. And no, 2 hours, but it would have been a lot better condition. It's a road. Alright, so they're up there. There's 1, 2 I've seen so far. Then our third one up top. I just spotted these guys. Just got done coming off of there, following that cut down. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so we got 2 ewes with 2 babies. Alright, other than those 2 ewes and babies, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm thinking it's gonna take me 30 to 40 minutes to get back to the truck. Get me a sandwich, some lunch, and then kind of drive around and look at the front of the property and see what we see. Not the front side of the mountain, see what we see. So I made it back to the truck and everything, ate lunch, didn't see anything on the way out. Start driving down to one end of the ranch, and I'm sitting here glassing. I noticed these guys, they're at about 600 yards. This looks like a batch of 5 or 6 ewes. I think there's a 6th one. Yeah, you can see the little baby off to the left. Okay, so it's just a bunch of ewes. So far, we'll see if anything nice steps out on my glass elsewhere. That is a ram that's with them, but I doubt he would break 23. I'm gonna keep looking for a little bit, see if anybody else steps out. So other than like those 10 to 14 sheep with that young ram, that's all I really saw today. Still a good day sheep hunting. I'm not really sure what I plan on doing tomorrow, so I just finished eating and I got to do, I don't know what, figure out my life, I guess. I'm just going to sit here and watch The Office and some South Park I have downloaded and try and figure out what to do. Maybe have a brewski. Okay, I'm about to get washed out by the sun, but they're right there at 1,000. I think there's a ram with them. It looks like 3 or 4 ewes and a baby, and I think there's a ram, but it's a small ram. Nothing in there worth chasing. They're all staring at me, so made it in 400 yards, but they're about to take off if I had to bet. The sheep are headed up and out, non-spooked, so that was successful. So they're up there. There's more coming over. Dude on the left, not the far left, but the second to the left, looks like he might be he's definitely a ram. There's more feeding over. I can't tell what they're doing. I just spotted them. I think they're at like 1,200 yards. So more and more keep like standing up. I think that that ram is the second one from the left. That one right there. Now he's walking away. I still don't think I've seen all of them. They keep feeding around in a circle. Trying to figure out. They're at 1,200 yards. There's a rock in front of me I think I can get to, which would cut distance in half. But they're up on top. I don't know. I'm still trying to see because more keep showing up. And I just don't know if he's the big ram in the group. There's definitely a ram in that group. But he looks like he might go 21 inches. I'm trying to see if there's a second bigger ram with them. Because if he's the big guy, then hey, that's not. I'm just gonna sit here and watch him for a little bit. So something just jumped them, and they're feeding. They're going off the back side of the knob, and they went in a single file line like they do for whatever reason. Looks like it was like a couple of rams, 10 ewes, and then like 2 lambs, or tim-tims as I call them. But I'm not seeing a shooter in there. I think the biggest ram is that. More keep coming. I think the biggest ram that we saw was that one that I showed you, and he was like 21 inches, if I had to guess. So yeah, he'd have to pop out at like 300 yards for me to consider that. I was getting ready to pack up when I heard what sounded like a rock fall, so I look over there. see that guy. I don't see anybody else with her, which is a little unusual, but just gonna keep an eye on her. Just spotted these two 500 yards to the right of that other ewe. I think it's an ewe and a baby. I just heard shale slide, so now I just gotta figure out where it was. Found the shale noise and what caused it. So there, she's at about 1,000. It's an ewe. Down to the left, at that very bottom rock to the left of it, I saw a butt go behind that bush that's down there, but nothing stepped back out. Okay, so I just spotted some over here. That's the one that ducked behind over there, and then I just heard shale move over here. This is getting a little crazy. Alright, so that's a young ewe. Alright, so the one on the right is a ram. The one on the left is an ewe. However, the ram doesn't have much length on his horns, and he doesn't have much mass. So, but he's at 780. These things are just coming out of the woodwork. This is so freaking nuts. I'm spotting sheep in the spotter, trying to find the sheep that I'm finding in the binos. That looks like a group of rams. Okay, right now I see 4. 2 more just stepped out, and then they all kind of scattered. So I think I'm up to 7. So I think the biggest one of the group is the one bedded down there to the right. And you got the one top middle. I think the one down at the bottom's the biggest. Pushed into 350 just to see if I could. You know, look at this. Could totally double up if I wanted to. This dude got up. I jumped him and he stood up. What is this dude's problem? God, sheep are freaking nuts. That dude was dead for 10 minutes. If I wouldn't have been filming, if I would not have been filming, I would have already been cutting that dude up. Not really, because I'd have poked him with the rifle barrel first. I've been watching him for about 5 minutes and nothing's moved. Running out of daylight, so I'm going to go get him. All right, so we're packed up. It's gonna be heavy load. I decided to take a cape. 26 3/4. Sun just setting, or is still setting. I should just be able to walk the creek bed out. I don't know how this is gonna ride though, because I tried to fit all the meat and the hide right there, and so I had to put the meat in the pack. So I'm hoping this isn't like tilting back on me. I don't know. I'm just walking this dried up creek bed back to camp. About halfway there. I know you guys can't see anything, but it's freaking nuts. Like, and the moon just peeked over the hill behind me. So hopefully I'll get some loom to help. But this is a little rough, but not too bad.